Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're diving into a seriously battle-tested framework for leading change in transportation operations. If you're a transportation manager, a fleet director, or an operations supervisor, you already know that keeping a fleet moving efficiently, it requires constant adaptation. But actually making those changes stick, yeah, that's a completely different battle. So today, we're going to look at how adapting principles directly from military command strategy can totally transform the way you run your logistics control centers and manage your fleets. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's kick things off with a highly relatable question. Have you ever tried rolling out a new software system, maybe a new telematics dashboard or updated route policies to your drivers, only to hit an absolute brick wall of pushback? It is incredibly frustrating. You spend weeks designing a new procedure to make things more efficient, but the second it hits the front line, compliance just stalls out. So why does this happen so consistently in transportation?
Well, this brilliantly illustrates the core problem. Execution out on the road is vastly different from the planning that happens at a desk. On one hand, we've got desk strategy, where everything is optimized, conditions are idealized, and we set these big abstract goals. But out in the wild, we have road reality. Out there, your drivers and dispatchers are dealing with volatile weather, sudden traffic bottlenecks, mechanical failures, and frankly, chaotic yard conditions.
To solve this massive disconnect, top logistics leaders use a simple playbook adapted directly from battlefield command strategy. Here's how we're going to break it down today. 1. The operational change problem. 2. Securing frontline buy-in. 3. Translating vision to action. 4. Building psychological safety. 5. Embedding change into systems. And 6. Grounding strategy in reality.
Let's start with number 1, the operational change problem.
The crucial thing to understand here is that this frontline friction is completely natural. When your frontline staff, whether they're drivers out on the highway or yard managers, are hit with new procedures like stricter ELD compliance or new telematics tools, their immediate reaction is almost always resistance. Why? Because directives fail when the team knows what is changing, but they feel like they're just being micromanaged from afar. They don't see the tool as a helpful upgrade. They just see Big Brother sitting in an air-conditioned office watching them.
Which brings us to number 2, securing frontline buy-in.
This introduces Rule 1, which is absolutely critical. Always lead with the why. You cannot just hand down a mandate from the operations center. You can't just walk up to a driver and say, hey, fill out this new digital checklist or use this new app and expect them to do it. You absolutely must explain the operational purpose up front. Without securing genuine buy-in by explaining the reasoning, your compliance is literally going to stall before it even gets off the ground.
Now, check out this exact script a manager could use to connect the change to the driver's personal benefit. Notice the phrasing here. You aren't saying, use this tool because corporate said so. You're saying, this route optimization tool reduces unbillable idle time, keeps us compliant, and gets you home on schedule. See what you did there? You're speaking their language. You're tying the operational change directly to their safety, their paycheck, and their personal time. It's a total game changer.
Moving right along to number 3, translating vision to action. This is Rule 2, translating your high-level strategic vision into a practical roadmap. Because let's be honest, high-level vision without a roadmap just generates confusion. Telling your dispatch team to simply improve on-time delivery by 15% is way too abstract for daily operations. It sounds fantastic in a boardroom, but what does a dispatcher actually do with that information on a random Tuesday morning? They need concrete, tactical steps.
For instance, instead of throwing around vague percentage goals, give them a highly specific, concrete target. Tell them, we need to reduce dock staging delays from an average of 20 minutes down to exactly 10 minutes. Now that is a tangible number. It's something they can actually wrap their heads around and manage against during a really busy shift.
By deconstructing that massive top-level goal of 15% better delivery into these 3 specific daily actions, you completely remove operational confusion. Your dispatchers now know they need to focus on staging delays, padding routes for peak traffic, and making sure pre-trip checklists are standardized. It takes the guesswork entirely out of the equation.
All right, number 4, building psychological safety.
Look, freight environments are naturally volatile. Things are going to go wrong. Rule 3 dictates that you absolutely must build a culture where failure is treated as operational data, not as a fault to be punished. If you have a punitive culture, your staff will simply hide their delays or conceal near misses just to avoid getting in trouble. Instead, you need to encourage rapid, honest reporting of route failures or bottlenecks. Use post-shift debriefs to refine your workflows without fear of an immediate penalty. Treat mistakes as feedback, and your operations will constantly improve.
Next up, number 5, embedding change into systems.
If you're relying on just talking to your team, you're fighting a losing battle. Verbal reminders only provide temporary motivation, and honestly, that fades within days. If you just tell your team to communicate better during shift handoffs, they'll forget by next week. Compare that to repeatable systems, which provide formal structure and automated prompts. That's what actually leads to lasting behavior change.
Rule 4 is all about locking those good habits in by creating formal structures. You integrate the behaviors you want directly into your standard operating procedures. Instead of asking people to talk more, institute a mandatory, standardized 5-minute morning stand-up huddle. Instead of asking drivers to please remember to check in, set up automated digital prompts. You have to make the new behavior the absolute default path of least resistance.
And finally, number 6, grounding strategy in reality.
Rule 5 reminds us that a strategy might look absolutely flawless on paper in your quiet office, but to earn frontline trust, it absolutely must survive real-world road and yard conditions. If you design software strictly at a desk without understanding how a driver actually uses a tablet in a bouncy cab with the sun glaring on the screen, it's going to fail. You must involve your experienced veteran drivers, your yard supervisors, and your lead dispatchers very early in the planning process.
And you do this through pilot testing. Always test new tech or operational policies with a small group of your veteran drivers and dispatchers first, before you do a massive fleet-wide rollout. Let them try it, let them break it, and let them give you feedback. Because when your team feels heard and they trust the process, your entire logistics operation is going to run smoother, safer, and remarkably faster.
To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative question to take back to your logistics hub today. Look at your current initiatives. What is one process change you can test with your veteran drivers this week? Don't roll it out to everyone. Just find your most trusted folks. Explain the why, make it a tangible action, and see how it actually holds up to road reality.